Babe,
Yeah.
we have another big problem.
Oh, not again. You know, RV life isn't always moonlight and sunflowers, y'all, especially if you're living in your RV full time. Now, we have been RV living full time in our small camper van for over a year now, and it doesn't come with its share of ups and downs. So today, we're going to share with you the true downside of full-time RV living that a lot of RVers probably don't talk about. Okay. Oh, can you wait? I'm trying to get lunch ready. David. Gosh. You know what? You can make your own lunch today. You know, living in a tiny space or even living in a big RV, if you're living in it full time, can really test you and your partner's patience with each other. As a matter of fact, it can even test your relationship.
Yeah, no, it's very true. We're around each other all the time.
Wait.
Which is a good
all
thing.
the time.
Yeah, but it's a good thing. Yeah. But I mean, exactly. There's no space to get away. Maybe you go off for a walk or something or things like that. But we're together, of course, pretty much all the time, living in a 23-foot home.
Yeah, and if you're trying to air out your dirty laundry, well, yeah.
Another downside of RV life full time, very different from the relationship, is that we can't think of a time when everything in our RV worked. Yeah. RV repairs seem endless, right? You're basically driving your house down the road. It's bumpy, it's creaking, the weather's changing. So things are going to go wrong.
Yeah, we currently have a long list of repairs that are needed right now, but we also live in the RV, so we have to pick and choose our times and when we can get those repairs done. Now, here's an example. Today, as you're watching this video, we actually have a water leak. Woohoo!
Yeah, third one we've had already.
So we're getting a little bit more confident. We're assessing the issues. We're actually determining where the leak is coming from. So that's a side note. You know, one of the tips I can actually give to you as folks watching this that may be new into the RV space is you're under warranty. So if you're under warranty, maybe right before it expires, contact your service provider and let them know. Air out that dirty laundry, what issues you are having, because today, a lot of times it's hard to get into a service center to get that repair done right away because they're so overwhelmed or backlogged. So keep a good record of that. So this way, when you do have to go get your repair done, it shouldn't be a problem taking care of it, even after your warranty's expired, as long as you got it in before the end of your warranty, right?
That's a good tip. And when you finally do get your rig repaired, well, that's your home, right? So you sometimes have to actually find a place to live.
Yeah, so where are you going to live? Well, that's a great question, and we've actually had this happen to us. You know, we had to get our RV repaired. We were in Amish country, and we needed to find a place to stay. So fortunately, there's Airbnb. The unfortunate side is a lot of these Airbnbs don't allow pets. We have 2 cats, and that's even worse than dogs at times because some of them may take dogs, but they won't take cats. Right, Macy's? Oh, perfect timing. Perfect timing. But they won't take cats, right, Mimi? Well, they won't take you. But this one place, say hello to everybody. Oh, she says, you'll find me more on Patreon. See you over there. Bye.
She's like, let me go.
But we did find a place out in Amish country that allowed us to stay out there for several nights until we actually were able to get our RV repaired, and they allowed cats. So that's something to really think about, especially if you're traveling in an RV and you're living in it with pets. So another downside to living full-time in an RV is that lack of privacy, especially if you're in a campground.
Yeah, no, speaking of kind of moonshots, you don't want to get moonshots in the middle of the night. Make sure you pull up your shades, right? Because those RV parks will be pretty tight.
Moonshots, ladies, you know, frontal moonshots.
Frontal moon.
You know, it could be one of those things where it doesn't allow you to have a lot of privacy, so close those shades. Unless it's your thing. To moonshine, everybody.
Yeah, your thing.
All right, so this next one, I'm going to let you take this one.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, this one really pertains to me. Don't let things get messy. I'm not the cleanest guy. I get things get a little messy, right? But in a small space, you got to really make sure you put your things away, like fold the clothes, get them back in the drawers and things like that, because things can get out of hand pretty quickly.
Yeah. So speaking of messy, you know, no matter what size rig you have, big or small, eventually at some point we always feel there's not enough storage. So what comes with that is we need to make sure the compartments that we do have, we're packing them smartly, almost like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, no, that's very true, especially when I think about the outside garage space, right? Yeah. That is, I try to have like the more frequently used items closer to the door, the ones we don't use so much, further away and tougher to access.
Yeah, but sometimes things like this happen. Hey Dave, can you grab the small printer? I gotta print out a couple of projects for today.
Printer? Oh man, that's way in there, babe. That's gonna take like 30 minutes to get to.
30 minutes? What? Who told you to put a weight on there anyway? My God. Now, for us, living in a small camper van, the downside is having a small kitchen. That means a smaller space to prep with, to cook in. So for us, it really does come down to getting really creative in the kitchen, and that even applies for grocery store shopping because we have a decent sized refrigerator, but it still requires a lot of puzzling to think about what we're gonna pack for the next trip or next adventure. So it's a lot more prep work.
Yeah, and Tanya, I gotta say, Tanya does an amazing job. She's super creative in the kitchen, and that's with no oven, not even a convection oven, right? We just have a basic small microwave, right? And then of course our burners and induction cooktop, but you're doing an amazing job, babe.
Thank you. Creativity, y'all, keeps your man happy.
Since we live in a small camper van, we don't have a tow behind or a small car to kind of head off into town with. And so for us, if we're going to a restaurant or something in town or a show, we need to pack up our home and kind of take it in, and that can be a real hassle.
Yeah, I mean, there's also times where we do try to get close enough to places where we can just pop off the bikes and just ride them on into town. But there's also times when you have those bikes and we're in town that we got caught in a hailstorm or a rainstorm.
Right.
Or some kind of storm which you shouldn't be riding a bike out in. But you know, things like that happen. So it's really smart to get yourself a car. Hey, quick question for you. If you stay in RV campgrounds or RV parks, have you seen an increase in rate or monthly rates in some of your favorite RV campgrounds? Let us know in the comments below. Now, with current rising costs everywhere, you know, RV parks and RV campgrounds have become pretty expensive, especially during peak seasons and around tourist areas. An example, we're in a very popular RV campground. We have a monthly here, but they recently increased their fees $200, a 30% increase just like that. So with that being said, we actually put together a really great video on the true cost of RV living. So if you're interested in checking it out, we'll leave a link in the description box below.
When you're living in an RV full time, you really need to pay close attention to your utilities.
Oh, yeah.
Meaning, like if you have propane for the heat, you know, what are your propane levels? Or if you have a cassette toilet or a black tank, what are those levels? Like when you need to dump those, very important. I mean, we go winter camping quite a bit and we rely on propane for our heat. If we were to run out of that, that would be crazy. Absolutely.
And we enjoy boondocking. So if you're a boondocker and you enjoy those, that's where you really want to pay attention to the levels on all levels.
Yes. And if you have kitties, make sure you stay on top of the kitty litter because in a small RV or van, those smells can pick up pretty quick.
Speaking of living with cats, woo! You know, when your cats have to go, they have to go. And I think one just went.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure you clean the litter quickly.
You know, driving in bad weather can be really scary. We have had many examples of us driving in bad weather, and sometimes you can't help it because you're staying in one spot, then you have to move from that spot, and the day you have to move is the day that there's going to be bad weather. So yeah, sometimes it's not an easy thing to avoid, but it can be really scary.
I don't know what you're talking about. I never have those white knuckles driving down the high wind roads. No.
We should play a clip of that. The visibility is kind of tough here.
No, it really is. And you can feel the rig kind of shaking from the wind whipping across.
I know, I feel it too. Yeah, it's got to beat off the ice. And we still have another 5 miles to go. Woo, this is great. Speaking of weather, it can be really hard to maintain a decent temperature in your rig, especially in an extreme cold or hot weather, right?
No, absolutely. If you think about extreme heat, your AC in your rig will be working really hard to try to maintain just decent temperature because a lot of these rigs aren't insulated really all that well.
Exactly. And speaking to that, we were just in really cold temperatures, the coldest we've ever been. The temperatures reached down to -9 degrees Fahrenheit, aka -23 degrees Celsius. But it was actually very cold and hard to really maintain the temperatures in our rigs. We even had icy patches. You know what? Let me not talk about that. You should go check out that video because it's kind of fun.
Humidity and condensation inside your RV is another big issue in full-time RV life.
Oh, it really is. Actually, one of the solutions we've done, and a lot of you asked us in previous videos what we do to avoid that humidity, it's quite simple. So our max fan, we tend to crack it just enough to let air flow out. And we also have a small dehumidifier, which in our opinion, is a lifesaver, especially if you are in true humid-like conditions.
Now, we mentioned before that you need to get used to things breaking in your RV because it just happens. But what we didn't mention is that RV maintenance is very expensive and time consuming, and that's definitely a downside of RV life.
Absolutely. I think the moral of that story is, and we mentioned this earlier, is start getting handy. If you're going to be in the RV space, it's really important to start to learn sounds of your RVs, start to learn if things break, how to repair those things. There are a lot of amazing folks in this RV community that are willing to help you out. You know, just pop up in the front of your hood. Someone will come run it over and help you. So it's really kind of a crucial thing to learn how to fix your RV so that you're not spending 80% of the time in the shop. I mean, the purpose of the RV life is to get out and enjoy it. So get out and enjoy it. So for us, it is really important, since we're constantly content creating and trying to upload videos, internet and cell service is crucial.
Yes.
So that doesn't always happen. I mean, I know there's apps for, you know, where you can find spots that may have service, but that is unpredictable and unreliable at times, right?
Yeah, especially if you're going away from populated areas like boondocking. We'll be in areas where you got nothing.
Yeah.
Right, so just be prepared for very intermittent cell and internet service.
Absolutely. And one of the things we've invested in, and I'm sure a lot of you already know this, is Starlink. And for us, it works phenomenal. It has its moments, like everything else is moody, but at the same time, it allows us to be able to access data and internet service when we need to, especially in those hard conditions. Now, I have to phrase it like this. A big downside is it could be isolating. It really can be. Like, you'll be at a campground or at a boondocking spot or a city park or wherever it might be for a couple days. You meet some wonderful folks and then you're gone.
Yeah, everyone kind of heads their own direction. You hope that in the future you kind of meet up again with your newfound friends, but it's kind of hard to kind of maintain those relationships sometimes.
Yeah, maybe at some point we'll see you guys on the road. Maybe we could do some caravanning and really have a party.
That's right, what she said. Now, if there are some downsides of RV life that you'd like to share with us, please let us know in the comments below.
Yes, because we'd love to read them.